Hello and welcome if you are here. If not, and you're watching this later, hello. Sorry if the sound's a little worse. My computer needs to be brought into school. It's having some issues, so having some issues with my headset. Hey, Nick. This is an Algebra 1 stream. So you're welcome to do some Algebra 1. We're going to be back with calculus streams tomorrow at 1 p.m. our normal time. So be excited. We're actually covering new content. Number 5 is 4. That would have been right for 2 nights ago. So, not a bad guess. Cool. All right. What do you think, Nick? Is anybody gonna? Are any Algebra 1 kids gonna show up? Oh, 4 watching now. We got some Algebra 1 people here. Hey, there we go. Welcome. If you just showed up, there are 4 math questions here. One of which is kind of the new type. Welcome, Jessica. Hello. Sorry if the sound sounds different. I had to go from my headset back to the computer sound. So, oh well. So yeah, a little bit of simplifying inside square roots for the first one, a little bit of quadratic formula for the second one, Vertex Form conversion, which is the stuff that I made a video for yesterday. So if you haven't done that yet, that might be a little hard. And then lastly, just kind of open-ended one where you can pick the method to solve for x that you think is best. Might just be the warm-up today. We'll see how many people show up. I guess 3 minutes in is pretty normal that there aren't many people here. It's also kind of an easier week material-wise because we're just doing the baby bit of completing the square stuff and then review. So it's going to be an easier content week for sure because there's nothing really new until next week. Confused by your comment, Daikun. There are Algebra 1. There is an Algebra 1 student here. At least probably. Can you post Friday's work early? Yeah, probably. If only because I have video games with my buddy on Friday at noon. So I kind of want to get everything done early for that. So it'll probably happen today or tomorrow. And it's just review, so the corresponding video might be pretty short or even unnecessary if you have a pretty good strong understanding of everything. So it shouldn't be too bad. So if you're just showing up, there's a couple questions here. Trying to go over some of the stuff from the last stream that people had a hard time with, and then I'll talk a little bit about completing the square, which is this week's thing. That's new. that's kind of the goal. So this should be fairly short if you're planning on being here, unless you guys have more questions, because it is pretty nice out, so I might as well take advantage of that by going a little shorter with the school stuff. Hey Alex, welcome. Feel free to throw in some spoilerinos or tell me you're done with things if you're done. And that would be great. Hello, Danica, welcome. It's going pretty good. Way better than yesterday. Way better. Whoa, what did I just do? Yikers. Let's not zoom. I was trying to clean my screen and I zoomed in. Oopsies. Oh, Alex, one down. Nice. So yeah, if you missed the early part, we have some stuff from last week and some stuff from this week on this warm up, and we're gonna try to keep this one fairly short today because this week's mostly review, so it shouldn't be too bad. So in a lot of ways, if you can do this warm up, you should be able to do the review without too much difficulty because this is what is being reviewed. I'm not being distracted this time. Last time during the live stream, my wife was playing video games next to me, and I kept wanting to help her. She is not home this time. No distractions. If there are any calculus kids in here, remember that the calculus stream is tomorrow at 1. We're actually doing new stuff, which is really hype. Because if for the Algebra 1 folks, for context, we haven't done new material in calculus in a month and a half or so. Because we mostly were reviewing for the AP test, and then the AP test was like a couple weeks ago. So that was why there weren't Wednesday streams for a stretch there. It's because we were doing like 3 or 4 streams a week for calculus. Oh, number 2 is indeed no solution. So Sam spoiled number 2. Nice. Oh, geez. I gotta check Danica. I don't know. Let's see. Can I do this in my head? Yes, because it's actually a lot nicer than I thought. That's good. Oh yeah, Danica, you got it right. Nice. So 3 is the hardest one. That makes sense. It's today's lesson, or at least the last one solved. I don't know if it's the hardest. 4 was probably the hardest, even with that fact. But Danica is apparently a boss at the Quadratic Formula, so that's good. Ooh. Ooh, did Alex get that right? Yeah, Alex got that right. Ooh, so I think we have 4 of them solved. That's all 4 answers to the 4 questions. So I think I'm going to start mopping. Seems good. Nice work, y'all. All right. So the first one, you just square root all these. And whoops, Alex, that first one, I forgot that this is 4 squared. So I told you were right, but it's actually 4xy because the square root of 4 squared is 4. So oopsie daisy. I wrongly told you were right. Oopsie. And the answer was 4xy for that first one. You just square root the 4 squared and get 4. You square root the x squared and get x. You square root the y squared and get y. Second one, solve for x with the quadratic formula. You just do this boy. X is equal to negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. And in this question, that means you get negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 9 minus 4 times 5 times 2 all over 10. And that's our quadratic formula all plugged in. Remember the 4ac is 4 times a times c, and that's why I have 4 times 5 times 2 in my parenthesis. If you now simplify the inside of the square root, which is all that really matters in this question, you get 9 minus 40, which is a negative in a square root, which is why Sam got no solution. So we could have kept going with all the other parts, but if you get a negative inside the square root, you're just done. So vertex form, if you haven't done it yet, you take the middle term, the x term, coefficient, and you divide it by 2. Negative 4 divided by 2 is negative 2, which means x minus 2 squared is our square. When it says completing the square, this is our squared term. That's the square we've completed. Now what we do is we expand out x minus 2 squared, and we get x squared minus 2x plus 4. We write out all that stuff, x squared minus 4x plus 4. And then all we do is we say, hey, what do I add to 4 to get 17, which is what I have in my original question. And what I add to 4 to get 17 is actually 13. Now this and my original problem are exactly the same, except I didn't write the y equals. Now they're exactly the same. And now all I do is I replace all the stuff that is x minus 2 squared with x minus 2 squared. So these two formulas or equations are exactly the same. They're just in different forms. This one's in standard form, the original, and this one's in vertex form. And that's how we convert from standard form to vertex form, is this completing the square trick. It's actually something you're going to use a lot more in Algebra 2. It's also something that the other Algebra 1 classes are not going over, so this was a little bonus extra piece that we got to throw in because the people who have A-Day have one fewer class this semester, which is why I did a little bit of this. And you guys are B-Days, so we got to actually cover this, which will only help you in the future. So that's cool. And then our bottom one was just another quadratic formula one, except this time, and I'm going to wipe this out so I got more rooms. If you're curious to the answer for 3, just, check Alex's answer in chat. Anyways, for this one, x is equal to negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 4 minus 4 times a is 5 times b is negative 3 all over 2 times 5. And now it's just a matter of simplifying. Once you've plugged it into the quadratic formula, you just simplify. And this one actually simplifies really, really nicely. And you didn't even need to use the quadratic formula for this because you could have actually factored this. The quadratic formula is just you don't have to think about the method if you use the quadratic formula because it just always works. So I err to it in a lot of these cases, so I don't have to factor hard things. Anyways, we get 4 plus 60 on the inside, which means we get the square root of 64, which is why this one is actually okay to do the other way, because the square root of 64 is actually a number. It's 8. Which means the answers are x equals negative 2 minus 8 over 10, and x equals negative 2 plus 8 over 10. And these are the two answers, either 6/10 or 3/5, as Danica said, and negative 2 minus 8 is negative 10 over 10, or negative 1, which was the other answer, Danica said. Which brings us to question 5. How many hours of sleep did Mr. Kennedy get last night? Let's see if you can get this one. Three, 4. Ooh. Very busy class. Yes. Kelly, we are streaming again for calculus tomorrow at 1 p.m. So, hope to see you there. But, yeah, this is Algebra 1. 7. Okay. Although, feel free to shoot a guess this way if you want. Sadly. Nah, it's not too bad. The stuff we're doing next class is actually pretty easy. It's barely new, if it's even new. 8. Are those all the people that have commented in chat? No, we're still waiting for Caden's. Yes, Aruni. Assuming he's still here. Because I believe I know who Berto is now. So, 3? Okay. It appears our closest is in a landslide. So the number of hours of sleep I got last night was 11, because I got like 4 the night before, so I was making up for it. I actually, so Jessica wins this, but I actually fell asleep at 9:30 last night. I woke up again at 1:30, so I had already gotten 4 hours of sleep. I was up till about 3, and then I fell asleep again and woke up at 11. So, that's 12 hours. Yep, so, good at math here. The point is, I got a lot of sleep. So I feel fantastic today. So no complaints there. All right, now I want to open it up and ask my Algebra 1 folks. Are there any other questions you'd like me to cover? If you want to see more completing the square types. Oh, Alex, if you checked the most recent email, don't be too concerned about your grade. Your grade is going up, but it's not going up in the gradebook because I'm not allowed to change the categories. Because if you're doing all your work for this part of the semester, I'm going to be averaging your quarter 3 grade with your grade on assignments since we've started the quarantine semester or whatever. So your grade is actually the average between 100% and that because you've been doing well on everything. So your grade is actually much higher than it looks. I think that's true for everybody who had a lower grade but that has been working hard during this, is their grade is going to be a lot higher than it is right now. And if you're at like a 90% and you've been doing everything, you're going to end up at a 95%. So if you've been doing everything, your grade is not reflected in the grade book. So just realize that I have to go in and hand edit those because they don't allow me to change categories. Otherwise, I would change it right now because Lord knows I don't want to respond to all the emails of people sending me. But every time I send an email back to somebody, they're all like, dope, that sounds great. So, whatever, dude. Any other math questions, or are you guys hunky-dory? Or grade questions? I'm happy to answer anything here. Any type, because like I can go to my Scratchpad and write a practice question of any type, or like show an example. Just anything you'd want to see. Yeah, I say hunky dory a lot. So somebody in my class 2 years ago made a like super ripped Dory the fish from like Finding Nemo or whatever. Um, and so I have that on my fridge. Can you fix my grade, Shannon? Shannon, you already have an A. Stop complaining. When will that happen? Into the semester, Jessica? So I have to go in and do grade adjustments. Like a week before grades are due, your grades are going to look different. Kelly, this is true for you too. So this is true for calculus as well. Yeah, Shannon, you were on an awesome TA. So was Jonah. Before quarantine started, you guys were killing it. Okay, if you have a C minus, that means like 70%. So let's say 70% average with 100 is an 85, so you get a B. That's how the average with 100 thing works. You just add your grade to 100 and divide by 2, and that's your new grade. So that's pretty sweet. Skip it. And yes, Kelly, if you have a D, it will also go up. If you've turned in everything and have 5s and all those homework assignments and everything, a D is a B. So, or like a D minus is a B minus or whatever. I don't know. Just add to 100 and divide by 2. That's what your grade's going to be. I recognize that this semester has been weird and a lot of people didn't have a chance to fix their grades and blah, blah, blah. And I don't really care about grades anyways. So I'm happy giving people better grades. I'm not one of those like people that believe grades are like paramount to everything. They're just a carrot for me. How are my views going up while I'm not covering math? Maybe that's the secret. But it sounds like people are good. So maybe this is a really quick stream. Unless there are any questions, I'll hang out for another like 30 seconds. But feel free to head your own way. And yeah, for seniors, I really don't give a crap about your grades. So you guys didn't get your senior finals. So this is just, you get the senior grade rounding, assuming you did all your work. Yeah. Oh, slash CalKids, I can see all your submissions for the AP test, so I could actually grade them if I wanted to. I don't want to, but yikes, that's weird. You're not going to get your UW admissions revoked. UW needs your money. I wouldn't worry too much about that. Yeah, don't forget to give us credit for today. I won't. If you're Algebra 1 and you have not said anything in chat, you should do so now or forever hold your peace. Or email me as, who did last time? Somebody emailed me afterwards and I was able to put that in. And I can give you your credit. QWERTY. See, seems good, dude. All right, Sylvia. Hello, hello. Alrighty. Well, on that note, have a wonderful day. It's beautiful out. Enjoy the sun. And if you're calculus, I'll see you tomorrow. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to do area and volume. I was sad we had to skip it this year. So, wow. And adios, amigos. Stop.